Greetings, everyone, and welcome to our special SBC Founders Meeting. Today is Wednesday, the 12th of March, 2025, and we are always so delighted to be here. Of course, we have lots and lots of beautiful faces, and those who are always very faithful to this meeting, like, of course, Dr. Godson, Mama Manuela Effie, Gina, John. The guys are just so many. I can't mention your name, not forgetting all the senior leaders. When I talk of senior leaders here, I mean those that have been in this community for more than 5 years. You are a senior leader. All right. So I'm giving you all new names. All of you who are senior, who have been here for the past 5 years, you guys are the senior leaders. As for me, guys, I don't know. Maybe I'm the professor now in this community. I should start looking for being a consultant and and start going for my retirements because I've passed all the chapters. All right, don't mind me, guys. So that being said, we are going to call on our admin. He's always there patiently waiting to deliver to us some of the happenings. He's pushing tirelessly to see that we shame the devil. And I hope, we strongly believe that we are going to shame this devil this time around and make this community a successful one. Greetings to you, Admin Scott. How are you doing today?
Greetings, MB, and greetings to everybody else. I'm doing okay. Been had some better days, but definitely improving with my health wise. So things are looking up. All right. So welcome everyone to our March 12th, 2025 founders meeting. This one is going to be a little on the short side. I have not prepared a blog, but I do have some very important and impactful information to deliver that we will be seeing some progress here in the future. So let me go ahead and get to the dashboard and see where we're at. All right. So here we are once again. Our membership is 7133, holding just above 7,000. We do have some progress in the Goodwill program. There is 8137 in the Goodwill program. So hopefully that will reach its goal of 10,000 in the next couple of weeks here, or even sooner would be great. And all of those accounts that are signed up for the Goodwill program will be activated according to that program. If you have any questions on the program, the details are in the blog, and there are daily posts in the Telegram group that tell status updates of our program. So let's go and let's check on the price of SBC Gold. There have been no purchases of SBC Gold in the last week. Keep in mind again that if we are to open up accepting SBC Gold once again for SBCBO, the price of the current price needs to be matching the adjusted price. And if the adjusted price gets to 0.06, then we will be able to do that. So as purchases are made of SBC Gold, the prices, the adjusted price and the current price get a little bit closer. Once they do get closer, then we will open up again for SBC Gold acceptance. So just keep that in mind if you're looking to utilize that. It's a numbers game, so we're waiting on the numbers. Scrolling down, don't really have anything further to go to here, but I do want to go and touch on one item in our blog. So we have our founders meeting recorded last week. That was a reading of the SBC EDU Future blog, and we have our reward schedule, and we have our announcement on our education process. So lately, a lot of members, particularly some from, let me check just one second real quick here. Yeah. Uh, we've had a couple of members from Uganda that have contacted me directly. They're still using words like TBC and the former admin, and they're just not understanding where we are at just yet. Um, they've been contacted by leaders in Uganda, and I'm sure that there's other leaders that have contacted other former members that do not know of where we are, where we're going, how we're getting there, and they still hold a lot of bitterness towards the TBC name, and we need to address this somehow. And in light of that, I was talking with our sponsors a couple of days ago, and they insisted that we as in me and them, have a face-to-face meeting. So I will be traveling the first week of April, and I will actually be meeting face-to-face with our sponsors. And during this time, we are going to be talking about our education process, which is going to be beginning in the first week of April. If I am unfortunately tied up during the first week of April and unable to deliver the first educational package, our education program might start on the 15th, or the following Monday after the 7th. Just a possibility there. It really kind of depends. I am making plans for that trip tomorrow. So I will know more then, and I'll be able to give you an update on that next week in our founders meeting. But as I mentioned, the sponsors do want to have a face-to-face meeting. And in that, we will discuss further steps in our education process, some expectations of the education process. I went through a blog last week, the SBC EDU Future, and detailed some items, particularly with regards to the curriculum, how the assessments are going to be taken care of, and how the progress will be measured. There was a little bit of pushback from the community regarding children and those who are illiterate in our community. And instead of crying out, "Oh, but what about the illiterate? What about the children?" Um, it's important for us to take responsibility for those who are unable to read and unable to, aren't really old enough to have the responsibility that we are challenged with here. So, what I would suggest to all of our members that if you're illiterate and you can't read, that's okay and that's understandable. We understand, but you still communicate. People communicate, and our educators that we are going to be bringing on board, they will have the ability to communicate effectively. And hopefully, someone within your local community will be even more able to communicate in simpler terms, or whatever it is that you might require. So let's not stress about those in our community who are educationally challenged. That's not going to be a factor that's going to slow us down. In fact, it's going to be a factor that makes our education process even more necessary. So during this education process, part of the goodwill and reach out for our community within 6 months, 3 to 6 months of the time that will require for our legal structure to be established. We will definitely have the ability to find ways to improve the education for those who are struggling. So I don't want to go any further into that, but I just want to make sure that we understand that if you identify a challenge in the education process, then you need the education more than you can imagine. Challenges are there to be educated against, and that is the only way that we proceed further, is by knowing things and understanding things, and being compassionate enough to uh, to communicate that knowledge. So going back to the meeting, the primary reason for this meeting is to shortcut the need for me to have to spend additional time with the sponsor's legal team in order to set up our legal structure. So we are anticipating that with the Goodwill program in the near future here being exercised, that our membership is going to grow rather rapidly. And one of the things that we are concerned about is organic or inorganic growth. So, what is organic and what is inorganic growth? So, if you take a look at the 5,000 SBC reward for December and January, it was well intentioned. It was certainly well received. However, it was not well executed. And the fact that a majority of our members took advantage of that to register new accounts or activate old accounts, but not keep them active and not really commit to this journey that we're on. They were just pooling resources. And unfortunately, that's the pain of inorganic growth. So, what organic growth is just natural members coming to our community, being educated, being understanding that our process is moving forward. I know that we are about 3.5 weeks away from our launch of the SBC EDU. And in that particular case, that's going to set us on the path to success. So we're hoping that by the time that April 1st comes around, that the majority of the members that are ready to begin the educational process and be able to get into our program as quickly as possible will start to benefit from that. Then that's another question that people um, have been kind of talking about lately. And they're like, oh, well, we pay our subscription fee, but we don't benefit anything from it, or we don't get a bonus for it, or whatever. Um, Honestly, it kind of irks me to hear those comments because what we are doing here um, and what that subscription fee covers is first of all, it's going to cover the education process. And although we didn't have an education process before, we are building one now. We are going to have that. And then you'll definitely be benefiting from weekly education. But also there's the rewards, the participation in our program. And, the majority, you're going to be able to tell the members of our community who are well affluent in what SBC is and what SBC does just by how much they have in their rewards balance. So, members who have been with us for countless years have certainly, as Mbe said, 5 years, you're senior leaders in the community. You've been here with us through the thick and the thin, and where we're going, how we're going to get there. And it's a shame that the majority of our members don't speak out a little bit more to reach out to other members who have been in the past. And I know that a lot of our members are very kind of they're weary of getting into a program and committing to it and feeling like they're not getting anything out of it. Well, going forward from our education process, as I said, the SBC BO will turn into an education portal. Once it hits that, you're definitely going to be benefiting from knowledge. One of the first topics is going to be kind of a review of where SBC comes from and SBC's mission goals. So it's an introduction to our program. In fact, I've already started working on that. The sponsors have given me some information on how to effectively communicate their role in this process. So all of that will be in the first module. And we're expecting our educators to put together a 20 to 30-minute presentation based on the information of the week that we're communicating. And then they'll record that message and they'll post it to the SBC EDU. And then our members will have the opportunity to view that and then take the questionnaire at the end of that. And again, the questionnaire, it's a pass or fail questionnaire, but you get to take it as many times as necessary till you get that passing. And what it's there for is it's there for us to evaluate how the community is receiving the information and if you are understanding it, and how well the educator is communicating the information. Even though the educators will have an effective curriculum or a script of nature, how they communicate that or how they add any additional understandings to that as they're presenting it is going to be key to the members of, or the educators' effectiveness. So speaking of those educators, I am going to reach out to them today, and I'm going to start finding out what resources that they currently have. Those educators are also going to be expected to host a live Q&A that will be at the time of their choosing. It could be whatever local time is good for them, but that will be something that they can have a Q&A with members who join, and that will be a short Q&A. None of the Q&As are expected to be more than a half an hour or something of that nature. And then in the following weeks of our educational modules, there will be a quick little review of last week's information, and then moving on to the new topic. Now, keep in mind, again, that if you are participating in the education program, which everyone is going to be required to do, you will have to view the module that is whatever the current module is for you. So if you join in May, there could be 3 modules that you need to get caught up on. And you can take those at your own pace. There is no rush. There's no urgency to commit to any of these educational modules. You just have to take them in order because they are going to be they're going to be a continuity of education. So as most of us know, if you've gone to any sort of school, you start on your first day. Usually your first day of school is pretty easy. It's an introduction to the program. And then the next days, in the next weeks, in the next months that you're attending school, you learn more and more. And along the way, anyone who is struggling to understand concepts or whatever, they start to grasp things, and they start to really congeal with that information. So that's what we're planning to do with the educational process. And like I said, I will be meeting with the educators hopefully soon, but I'll be reaching out to them today and gauging their interest in the program and their capability. We have 5 educators that are selected, 1 for Hindi, 1 for Bangla, 1 for Filipino, and French and English speaking. So all of those areas will be covered initially, and as the need for other languages are required, we will expand. We'll expand that. The last thing that I wanted to go to is I've alluded a couple of times to the legal structure. So meeting with the sponsors in the first week of April is going to give me a overview of how that process plays out. I am sort of familiar with it in that I've participated in an organization that did previously issue legal structures and things of that nature, but not to this extent. This is not just a small corner of the world, but this is literally a world-changing community that we're moving into. So it's a change in how economies are created, how economies are used, and that kind of legal structure is a little bit more than just say for instance you have a trust for your house or something of that nature, where you want to ensure that when you pass along, your assets and whatnot get passed along to your family members. It's not quite as simple as that. Not saying that those are simple, but it's not one of those things. This is a community structure that will protect our community and will protect our access to the assets that SBC will be tapping into. So all of those things are part of the education process, and as we move through, as we get to our 10,000, then we'll start that that legal structure, because we really need that 10,000 members in order to start the legal structure. And once we get that, then we've got about 3 to 6 months before we're going to have access to those funds. We have already built, as you know, the SBC rewards wallet. That is basically a ledger. It's the starting point for the technology of accessing these funds. So not to go into too much detail, but as you access the funds, whatever per day you can access, you'll go to your device, whether it be a smartphone app or like a Trezor device. You will access the available rewards funds that are available in grains of gold. So SBC 1.0 SBC is equal to whatever the current value of a grain of gold is. I think it's over $5 right now. So just one SBC is worth quite a bit. It's almost $6 actually. So it's very, very close to $6. And we do anticipate that going up. So take that for what it is. It's very important to know that that we're connected to the price of gold. It's not going to be connected to the price of dollars. So whatever whatever SBC you are able to access on a daily basis or weekly or monthly basis, that can be converted to your local currency, and that's done through the technology that we've talked about previously. So I think that that's pretty much all that I've got for today. When I do get to meet with the sponsors, it's going to be a very eye-opening experience for me. And fortunately, once we do establish the legal structure, I'll be able to move back more into a role of not being the admin as much as being an administrator, being back into the facilitator of the systems and whatnot. And our legal structure will take on a life of its own. There will be there will be likely to be members of our community that are selected to represent the legal structure. And there will also be, our local leaders who will be empowered by their protection through the legal structure. So hopefully a lot of that makes sense. Usually I have a blog to go from where I've been able to compile and communicate these concepts effectively. I will be able to do that for us next week, but today or this week was just a back and forth between me and the sponsors of establishing what it is that we actually need to do, establishing the timeline that we're looking for. They're obviously looking for us to complete this by the end of April. That really kind of depends on the Goodwill program, and that depends on the participation in the education program. I know that a lot of our members are maybe holding off to rejoin until April. A lot of members that are out there like to wait and see. And all I can say to those members is, if you're sitting on the fence now, you should jump in now. It's it's time. Now is the time. So, and that will be our take home message for what it's worth. Now is the time. And the reason why now is the time is because you want to be able to hit the ground running when that educational process starts. So that when you have seen with your own eyes that, oh, here we go, we've got an education process. Here we go. We're starting, the clock is ticking, the time has begun. You want to be able to effectively communicate that to those other fence sitters that are sitting out there that have been, well, I'll just wait and see. If you get too far behind in the education program, it will prevent your access to the fund. You could find yourself sitting back and waiting 3 or 6 months before joining the community, and you've got 3 or 6 months, you've got 100 or so modules that you've got to go through before you can get there. Let's not do that to ourselves. So the big push here, getting us over 10,000, getting us over 20,000 and 30,000, we can accept any and all of our previous members that are willing to do the work that we need to do here, and that's go through the education process. And this education process will evolve as we are getting closer to our fund's launch date. The education process will include a lot of additional information. And keep in mind that it will always be a small chunk of information on a weekly basis. It's never going to be an hour or 2 hour presentation. It will always be 20 to 30 minutes. We will make sure that it does not overwhelm anyone. Nobody wants to be overwhelmed, and it is not at all unreasonable to take 20 to 30 minutes of your day to review this information and then answer a simple questionnaire at the end of it. We understand that everyone's time is valuable, but 30 minutes a day you probably spend scrolling on your phone. So my recommendation is to plan to carve out that time. And if you're not with us from day one on the first month, our first starting when we're in April, if you're not with us then and you join us later, you will have a little bit of catching up to do. So with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and turn it back over to you, MB.
Right. Thank you very much, admin. I think that's a great step ahead. Meeting the legal team and the sponsors is something that we need at this point in time. And I think it's a milestone, considering the fact that many of us, we were in this community without protection. I think legal protection is something that will actually instill a lot of confidence to the community and all the leaders that are going to partake in moving the community forward. So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I think it's a great step. People should carry this message home and call on all the old members that don't really know what is happening. I think this recording today will give a bit of a roadmap into where we are going to. And that is going to really help them to understand and come back. And the past has passed. We need to move forward. Whatever has happened in the past has happened. Now it's time for us to move forward in another dimension.
Yeah, we have to excise ourselves from the past. We've evolved beyond the need to retouch on what was before.
Right.
And as I've said before, the original plan from the original TBC was it was a great idea. It was a concept in thinking, but that was 8 years ago, and we have evolved as a community, and uh, we've seen the impact that the past has caused, and we are actively avoiding those mistakes of the past. And it's not to say that we're not going to make mistakes going forward, but we've learned from our past, and anyone who hasn't learned from their past, wants to live in the past, needs to they just need to reevaluate their outlook.
Mhm. Right. Absolutely. Okay. Um, that being said, think you said a take-home message. You mentioned something, take-home message.
Yeah, the take-home message is the time is now.
Okay. So we are going to allow everyone to unmute and say the time is now.
The time is now.
Time is
The time
now.
is
Time is
now.
now.
Yeah,
Time is
time
now.
is now.
The
Time is
time is
now.
now.
Time is
Time is
now.
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 Bangladesh
The
time is
time
Time
is
is
now.
now.
The time is
Time is
now.
now.
How many people have I? Let's see.